horror villains. They've scared us for decades with their iconic looks and terrifying stories.
Yo man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
I'm taking the 3 of the most notorious Halloween villains and redrawing them into fun, retro cartoon characters. Think Looney Tunes meets Friday the 13th. And I'm saving my craziest design for last. Let's see if these villains can work in a cartoon universe. Now, for starters, I'm giving Jason some big, goofy eyes in his mask, just like those classic retro cartoons. His body is square and squishy, kind of like an inflatable pool float, which adds to the playful vibe. And of course, we can't make this a vintage cartoon without giving Jason those iconic Mickey gloves. While we're talking about iconic things, Jason's go-to weapon is usually a machete. To me, it makes sense. It's lightweight, it's easy to carry, and perfect for all that chasing that he does do on foot. But for this design, I decided to switch it up and give him an axe. And as you can see, he's holding it like he's on a casual stroll through the woods. You know, more playful, less murdery vibe. Oh yeah, and the pose? I'm gonna keep it simple with a classic walking loop. From the waist up, with his arms swinging back and forth, in that fun, bouncy rubber hose movement that we all recognize from the cartoons back in the 1920s. Now for the colors. So I originally planned to stick with a simple black and white gray palette, but you know what? Honestly, it was looking a little bit too boring. So I decided to call an audible and I decided to go with a full color design. For his jacket, I'm gonna go with a deep blue. And for the shirt, I'm thinking of a dark burnt orange. I think this adds a lot more life to the character. Then I'll also add some subtle shadows across Jason to give him more depth while still keeping that flat retro look. Next up, we have the gloves. And of course, I'm gonna stay to the classic white, just with a little bit of tint of blue for the shadows. Now next up, let's focus on the axe. So far, I think it looks pretty good, but what I think it really needs to really stand out is some shadows, some highlights, just to give it that pop. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this design is really starting to come together. But do you know what I think it needs? A background, like a Halloween creepy vibe background. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with a deep, dark purple sky, and then add some clouds just to set the mood. And now that I'm really looking at it, just the contrast between the colorful character and the spooky background really gives that extra flair. It's creepy, but still pretty fun. And here it is. Here's Jason Voorhees as a 1920s style cartoon character. So let's break it down really quick. He's got that retro rubber hose limbs, a playful vibe, but you still know it's Jason with the iconic hockey mask and the axe in hand. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I had a lot of fun blending the horror and cartoon worlds together for this one, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Oh yeah, by the way, while you're doing that, don't forget to subscribe. All right, folks, for our next transformation, we're doing Chucky, and we're turning him into a fun, cartoon character straight out of the Looney Tunes universe. Alright, so first things first, we gotta tone down the creepy factor a bit. I'm gonna give Chucky a rounder, more innocent face, but with just a hint of troublemaker. Just a splash. Then I added a scar over his left eye for that playful yet dangerous look. And since we're leaning into that innocent look, I like the idea of also adding some buck teeth. This should really amp up the cuteness. Now, let's talk about his facial expression. I like the idea of a side-eye glance, like he's up to no good and he's plotting something. More in a Daffy Duck kind of way. If I remember correctly, the Chucky doll's hair is bright red and always looks pretty rough. It's almost like a perm gone bad. So for his hairstyle, I'm thinking of creating a split down the middle, just right in the front, and then I'll have the rest pulled back. This should give him that smooth criminal vibe. I really like the white gloves on the previous Jason design. So let's do the same with Chucky. The white gloves are a nod to Bugs Bunny, and I'm giving him a kitchen knife for his weapon of choice. Because at the end of the day, we're still dealing with Chucky, no matter how cute I make him look. So far, it looks like we're on the right track for this challenge, but we still need to nail the colors. I'm gonna use the iconic rainbow sweater and blue overalls, but in a brighter, more cartoony colors to match that Looney Tunes style. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really like where this is going. The rainbow stripes on the sweater really pop, and the overalls are bold and a playful blue. The gloves, of course, are bright white like Bugs Bunny, and the kitchen knife is simple silver, but nothing too scary. At the end of the day, it's all about keeping it light and fun. Now for the background, I'm gonna do a plain green, which gives the whole scene a clean, classic cartoon look and really helps Chucky to stand out. And here we have it, folks. We've taken the classic, terrifying Chucky doll and transformed him into a lovable, troublemaking Looney Tunes character. Now for the toughest challenge of them all, and that's the iconic Frankenstein character. So I want to go out with a bang, and we're going to do this by creating a goofy Scooby-Doo style cartoon character. So let's start off with his head, because I'm going to be honest, that's all I'm drawing this time around. And I'm going to start by drawing his eyes and make them look slightly crossed, so we can give him that classic duh look. Then I'll give him a wide open mouth to match his eyes. I think a square head would look great for our Frankenstein. And then also applying a simple haircut should do the trick. And to make things even funnier, I gave him a missing piece of his ear, like something or someone took a bite out of it. Now let's talk about the details in the face. So I'll add a few stitches across his forehead, and then I'll add another one across his cheek just to keep that classic Frankenstein vibe. And just real quick, I don't want to forget that for this design, I'm gonna have a bone sticking out of his neck. Just a little extra to show this guy is truly a piece of work. For the colors, we keep in that classic Frankenstein green, but brightening it up to match that 1970s Scooby-Doo vibe. Now for the eyes, I'm thinking let's go with a glazed over yellow. I think that would really sell that Back from the Dead vibe. Now let's talk about the teeth. And I think we should go with yellow because Frankenstein probably isn't too big into dental hygiene. And now that we have all the base colors, it's time to add in all the details. So I think some heavy shadows in the face would really help to bring this design to life. No pun intended. And I also think some highlights to the design will help to give it some pop. So doing this should give this design the retro mystery vibe, just like Scooby-Doo. If I say vibe one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind. And here we are. We've taken the old school black and white Frankenstein and transformed him into a goofy, clueless Scooby-Doo villain. So if you want to see me do another art challenge and recreate the inside out emotions into brand new ones, then watch this next video right here.